Jones versus DC, he said right after the fight, come and prove you're the champ, you're the real champ. He said he doesn't believe that that's the case, and he's been the champ since 2011. I agree. He has never been defeated, and he's beat Daniel twice now, one being a no contest though. So that's got to be a fight that Daniel has to want, I believe. You can't leave that. You can't leave that unturned. So Daniel, go out and prove it. Prove you're the champ. If you do it, you're going to be the greatest. You're going to be one of the greatest if you do it. So, well, you are the greatest, but you're going to be on that level of Jon Jones. So he needs to do it. But there's also two guys who are coming up to light heavyweight. We don't know if Luke Rockhold's 100% doing it, but I've heard he is, and Yoel Romero. So Yoel Romero and Luke Rockhold provide a problem that may or may not Jones may or may not be able to deal with them. You know what I mean? Like, they have those weapons, those killer skill sets that he just may not be able to deal with.
Well, that's what's interesting about those two possibly coming up to light heavyweight is, as you've said in the past, other than Jones, Gustafsson, and DC in the light heavyweight division, the rest of the guys are very sloppy and their skill sets are one-dimensional usually. You don't have guys that can do it all, and if you do, then they'll be at the top. Now, on the note of Luke Rockhold and Yoel Romero coming up, they have the type of all-rounded skill sets that could allow them to skip the line in terms of fighting the lower-ranked guys and pose the most problems for a guy like Jones or Gustafsson or DC. Now, obviously, Luke Rockhold's never going to fight DC at light heavyweight. That's not even a fight that would ever be entertained. But Luke Rockhold possibly versus Gustafsson, that's a potential fight that could be really exciting. We also have Yoel Romero versus Jones is a fight that could happen. And now those guys have well-rounded skill sets. They have great striking. They have great grappling. Both of them. Yoel Romero, Olympic wrestler. Luke Rockhold's known for his grappling, and his striking's very good also. So it's interesting if those two come up into the light heavyweight division. It's going to really mix it up, and there's going to be some exciting fights.
Yeah. So Jon Jones said after the fight that he is looking to go back to the basics. You know, the wrestling, those fundamental wrestling that he has. That he's the Greco-Roman. So against Yoel Romero, it's going to be very difficult. It will be very difficult to implement that game plan. So he's going to have to go with the striking approach against a guy like Yoel Romero.
But on the flip side of that, you say the wrestling approach might not work, but you know Jones did take down DC.
Yeah.
So that you have that also. So you can't underestimate Jones's grappling because he could.
But he did not dominate.
He didn't dominate him on the ground.
Dominate him on the ground. So we're talking about a silver medalist in the Olympics.
Yeah.
That is those credentials are greater than Daniel Cormier's.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, to take him to the ground, I think he will scramble out. I feel like he's like explosive like that. So I don't think that's the strategy. I feel like the strategy is to strike with Yoel Romero, similar to what Robert Whittaker did.
Yep.
And come with a game plan to avoid those big shots. And I think that would be a lovely fight. And I'd love to see that fight. Yep. That would be
a great fight. That
would be really awesome to see. And Luke Rockhold as well, who poses also dangerous ground game, and his offensive striking is some of the best we've seen. So Jon Jones has a lot of leverage. He's beat Gustafsson now. He's the light heavyweight champion, and everyone wants to fight Jones. So there's just the sky's the limit. We don't know who's Jones going to fight. So we'll see.
Yeah.